Yes, fight fans, body and mind sports, welcome. You are fully appreciated if you are here for another session of Boxing Talk, my people. And in this round, my guys, this round, my people, I will be talking about five heavyweights, my guys, and I'm gonna give you the names right away, and hopefully I can start just billing from there. The names being Anthony Joshua, Joseph Parker, Deontay Wilder, Daniel Dubois, and of course the fifth one being Joyce, my guys. And the reason why I'm picking on these particular heavyweights is because not only have I been following their career for quite some time now, but you know, they've all hit real stumbling blocks in their career that have set them back to the drawing board. And some, in going to the drawing board, have come back and made a success of trying to bounce back, my people, while others have not been so successful in trying to do so, and have fallen by the waistline. In fact, fans are saying that their careers are in fact over. But in my opinion, I believe at least one or two of those fighters actually do have a real lifeline to be able to revive that dying career, my guys. So without any further delay, let's get right into it, my people. Let's go. And let's start with, of course, Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker, his name really started making noise, my guy, in 2016 when he became the WBO world champion after beating Andy Ruiz for the vacant title. And I'm sure his people himself would have thought, well, and his fans as well would have thought, that from there on his career would just be in an upwards movement, my people, going up. Although very foreseeable were other talents in the division that could, of course, have put an end to Joseph Parker's dreams, my guys. And after two straight successful title defenses, one of those defenses against Hughie Fury, brother to Tyson Fury, that was when the real challenge in Joseph Parker's career came. A real challenge other than the one he had with Andy Ruiz. And that big trouble there came in the form of Anthony Joshua, my guys. Anthony Joshua, one of the the most widely spoken of heavyweight, without a shadow of a doubt, during that time in the division. And he actually handed Parker the first loss on his record, and with that took with him Joseph Parker's WBO title, my guys. And however, though, Joseph Parker was also to make history that day, in that he put a mark on Anthony Joshua's record as being the very first man to have survived onto over 12 rounds, losing to Anthony Joshua, of course, via unanimous decision. Because before that, Anthony Joshua was just a real wrecking ball, my people. He was just lining them up, knocking them down, lining them up, knocking them down, lining them up, knocking them down, guys. So he was on a real KO streak, my guys. My people, he was on a real KO streak, and Joseph Parker put a stop to that via losing with a unanimous decision, my people. But in trying to get back to winning ways, I'm sure Joseph Parker will be kicking himself for actually losing to this man, this next man. And this is, of course, Dillian White, my people. He lost to Dillian White in his very, very next fight after he had lost to Joshua. And he lost to White via a unanimous decision, just like Joshua. And the worst part of that loss is that Dillian White had already been part of Anthony Joshua's KO knockout reels. He'd actually been part of Anthony Joshua's KO reels, you know, because Anthony Joshua is one of those Dillian White was actually one of those fighters who Anthony Joshua lined up and knocked down. Yeah. Something that he couldn't do to Parker, but here comes Dillian White beating somebody that Joshua couldn't knock out. Someone that you know proved to be a problem in some ways to Anthony Joshua in the ring on their night of facing one another. But yeah, like I said, he really had to consider his career at that point and go back to the drawing board. So he set a path of trying to get himself back to winning ways, and he did so by, of course, facing lesser opponents, as we know, just to regain confidence and, of course, back to winning ways, my people. But sooner or later, he then bumped into Derek Chisora, my guys. Derek Chisora, a fringe level fighter, is somebody that you face when you are actually trying to pass that line into the realm of the top heavyweights. And at that point, that is exactly what Joseph Parker was trying to do, and get himself back into the realms of the top most talked about heavyweights in the world, my people. And he did so successfully because he beat Chisora via split decision the very first time they met one another, because they met twice the second time. Much improved performance. He beat Chisora via a unanimous decision, my guys. And at that point, he was already in there in the realm amongst the big beasts, the Colossus giants. And one giant, of course, met Joseph Parker, and his name was Joyce. At that time, he went by the name of the Unstoppable Juggernaut, my guys. Another straight wrecking ball. But unlike Anthony Joshua, this man was blocking punches with his face. No doubt. Joyce was walking through punches, yeah, like Juggernaut will walk through walls. If you know about the X-Men, the Juggernaut runs and walks through walls. So Joyce, that's why they called him the Unstoppable Juggernaut, guys, because he literally walked through punches like he had no feelings, like he had no pain cells, my people. And as expected, he did beat Joseph Parker. In fact, he was the first man to KO Joseph Parker, put the first KO loss on Joseph Parker's career, my guys. But Parker was an underdog in that fight, I must say, because Joyce, I believe by the time he faced Parker, he had already had one good win against a very well spoken of prospect coming up, a rising star in Daniel Dubois. And he actually beat Dubois in some real horrible way, my people, where he actually broke Daniel Dubois' orbital bone, my guys, and made him quit in that fight. And yeah, made him quit in that fight. And then Joyce, of course, went on to beat Joseph Parker via KO. It was expected, my guys. Trust me, it was expected. So not too much of a bad win then for Joseph Parker in his path to try to rebuild his career. Now he has got 3 losses, my guys. 3 losses, but there was a lifeline. There was a lifeline, because at that time, another champion who had slipped down in the rankings was, of course, Deontay Wilder, my people. And Deontay Wilder, after having a trilogy with Tyson Fury, at that time Tyson Fury was of course highly rated as a heavyweight. In fact, looked at as the #1 heavyweight in the entire land. The entire land of heavyweights, my people. He was #1, my guys. And Wilder, I believe, was maybe #2, #3. Him and Joshua at that point, very debatable. Yeah, very debatable as to who was #1 and #2, my guys. And so, yeah, Deontay Wilder in his trilogy with Tyson Fury drew the first fight. Second fight, he lost miserably, got stopped. Second fight, the same, miserably, he got stopped. The first one was TKO. The second one, I believe, was a KO, my people. So that was a lifeline there for Joseph Parker. And he now had, although Deontay Wilder at that point, he had been shown up, my people. I ain't gonna lie. We all knew that he didn't have any real boxing skills as such, that he depended only in his right hand, his power hand, that that I don't know what to call it, man, but his power hand was like a piston from hell, my guys. That power hand there, knock out anybody with just one punch, my people. So he was still a very dangerous opponent, although he had been revealed not to possess much boxing skill. He's been exposed by Tyson Fury already. Although by the time that he faced Joseph Parker, he had displayed his power one more time against Robert Helenius, and in that fight he KO'd Robert Helenius. Although Helenius possibly just a fringe level fighter, or just below, to tell you the truth. So tailor-made for Deontay Wilder, of course. And after that win Wilder had against Robert Helenius, him and Parker, of course, had to face one another, and Wilder was a lifeline for, in fact, they were a lifeline for one another. They were a lifeline for one another. Whoever wins may well go on to do great things. And in that matchup, the man that came on top was, of course, Joseph Parker, and he beat Wilder via a very wide unanimous decision, my guys. Very obvious who the winner was in that fight. And Wilder then went on to try to challenge himself again, because although, you see, one thing about Wilder, yeah, is that it seems like no matter how many times he loses, he's still able to land those big fights against the top heavyweights. So he always gets them matchups against the real challenges in the heavyweight division, and that's due to his power. That's due to his power. His power creates you know, that you will never know sort of moment. You know what I'm saying? So that thought of you will never know, anything can happen, you know, that notion, he creates that notion. And not only that, he creates suspense and surprise. So he's always there to create suspense. And for that reason, his very next fight, although having lost already to Joseph Parker, Wilder went on to face Zhang, but terrible mistake, my guy, because Zhang KO'd Wilder in the 5th round. My people, he beat Deontay Wilder, guys. While on the way was Joseph Parker to challenge Zhilei Zhang next, and that was in 2023. And guess what? He actually beat Zhilei Zhang, and via majority decision in a fight where Parker himself was dropped twice. So what a brilliant fight back, showing grit, determination, and strong will, my guys. And that's what carried Joseph Parker through, aside from, of course, his fleet-footedness and boxing ability and skill. So he passed the test of Zhilei Zhang. And one particular thing to look at here, though, is that Wilder's, but hold on, let me just say one thing though. Zhilei Zhang, yeah, was in fact the fighter, the very first fighter to have put a loss on Joyce, the Juggernaut, Joyce, the man known as the Unstoppable Juggernaut. Zhilei Zhang put the very first loss to his record. Not only the first loss, but did it twice. Did it twice. Why am I holding up 3 fingers? Did it twice, yeah? And both via stoppage, which was unbelievable because people thought that Joyce was actually gonna win that fight, yeah? You know, because Zhang, although a colossal being in himself, you know, tends to slow down in fights. From about 5 rounds onwards, he's starting to slow down. While Joyce, on the other hand, like I said, the unstoppable juggernaut, the man just doesn't get tired. So people just thought he was going to win, and also he's got size and power too. Yeah, people thought he was going to win, but Zhang, of course, handed him the 2 losses on his record. The first 2 losses on his record came via the hand of Zhang. So for Parker to go on to beat Zhang, yeah, the man that beat the man who he lost to, yeah, the man that beat the man that Parker lost to, that's who Parker beat. So yeah, great, brilliant win. And of course, again, Parker's done this before, because remember, Parker beat Ruiz, who went on to beat Anthony Joshua, and then Parker, you know, lost to Anthony Joshua, which is funny, isn't it? You know, because yeah, it actually went like this: Parker beat Ruiz, went on to beat Ruiz. Actually, Parker beat Ruiz, then Parker went on to lose to Anthony Joshua, then Ruiz went on to beat Anthony Joshua. So Parker is the perfect example of the triangle theory not working in boxing. He's a perfect embodiment of skills in styles make fights, you know, the brilliant motto that they use in boxing, my people. So yeah, Joseph Parker is a perfect embodiment of that, and of course also a testament of true real hard work can take you places, my guy. It's not just all about talent and ability out here. So yeah, 2 great wins there for for Joseph Parker in Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang. I would say which was the best win of his career, my people. And with that said, let's move on ahead to the next fighter that I want to look at, and that is of course Daniel Dubois, my guys. Daniel Dubois. Now actually, let me start with Joyce, since I've been mentioning his name, Joyce. So after Joyce had lost to Zhilei Zhang, actually expected to make a comeback, and he went straight away to face fringe level Chisora. And guess what? Surprise, surprise. Everybody thought Joyce would win, and you know what? He fell by the waistline. He lost to Chisora. My guy. And yeah, and that's so now three losses in quick succession in Joyce's career. Three straight losses, my guys. You know, three straight losses. Zhile Zhang and Derek Chisora. Wow. So that is the point that he's at now. But who is he going to fight next? No. Who is going to fight next? Now we'll think about that later. Anyway, let's move on to Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois, what an emphatic a career he's had, my people. What a it's roller coaster career, up and down. And he in fact suffered the worst loss at the hand of Joyce, because Joyce actually broke his orbital bone, and it's been revealed by his promoter Frank Warren that Joyce actually fractured his Dubois orbital bone in four different places, my people, forcing Dubois, of course, to quit against Joyce in that fight. And that was Dubois' very first loss of his career. It was via a stoppage. And he also had, of course, to go back to the drawing board, my guys, to the drawing board. But he did, however, though, nearly suffered another loss. He faced some turbulence when he went up against a former cruiserweight champion in Kevin Lorena, who had now stepped up to heavyweight, my people. And he fought Daniel Dubois as one of the opponents in the heavyweight divisions. And he actually dropped Dubois 3 times in that fight. You know, Dubois, who people were speaking very loudly about, saying that he quit in his fight versus Joyce. Well, it was just a case of him having to save his physical health on the night, live to fight another day, and of course, in so doing, probably saved his career also. So yeah, he possibly did give up. I'll say he did give up, but he had a decision to make, my guys, and he probably made the best decision. However, I do feel that if he was a better boxer, more fleet-footed, had you know, better head movement as such, he would have possibly boxed on and just gave Joyce the run around for 2 rounds, and possibly would have won or got a draw. Because at the point of when the stoppage came, I thought Dubois was actually in front, to tell you the truth. So yeah, you can't change time though. You can't go back in time and change things though. So he just had to move forward from there. And like I said, he went up against Kevin Lorena, my people, and he actually beat Kevin Lorena via KO in the 3rd round, I believe, in a fight where Dubois faced real turbulence, but to show everybody that he's not a quitter, he came back to win that fight. And he actually got dropped in the 1st round against Kevin Lorena. Got dropped not once, not twice, but 3 times, my people. And to get dropped and still come back to win via KO in the 3rd round. Fantastic, Daniel Dubois. That is what we want, yeah, and that is why we love a fighter in Daniel Dubois, my guys, my people. So after that, he was looking for a bigger challenge. He then ran into Usyk and was looking to get a win from Usyk, my guys. He actually lost to Usyk via an 8th round TKO, so by stoppage. And in a fight that was very, very controversial. Of course, the majority of people in the boxing world actually believing that Dubois should have stood to win that fight, because he actually knocked down Usyk with a mean body shot, in which was perfectly legal, but due to some great acting by Usyk and the referee falling for it, of course, and gave Usyk that extra time, 9 minutes in fact, to recover. Had he been given, you know, the normal time, the normal recovery time, or given the 10 count after an opponent had been dropped, I don't think he would have been able to get up. But things happen in boxing, and that's why it's a beautiful sport, my guys. You never know what's going to happen, my people. So that was a loss on Daniel Dubois' record against Usyk, and a fight we all expected him to lose anyway. But all the other wins to come after that, Daniel Dubois was an underdog in all of them. Because after Usyk, he then went up against Gerald Big Baby Miller, and he managed to stop Big Baby Miller in the 11th round of their fight. And then he went up against Filip Hrgović after that, stopping Filip Hrgović to gain the the IBF interim world title from Filip Hrgović. And he also stopped Filip Hrgović in that fight, although there was some dirty playing there, where he was using his head quite a lot, put 2 gashes right there at the top of the brow of Filip Hrgovic's, both of the eyes actually, bleeding profusely, but it got him through. So that's all that matters, my people. Dubois got through. Next to face the man, the big name in the division, Anthony Joshua. And there again, a big underdog, but he came through again, stopping Anthony Joshua, my guy. So 3 great wins there. Dubois in that fight, in beating Filip Hrgović previously, had been upgraded to full IBF status, my guy. So he was the IBF champion going into the fight with Anthony Joshua, who was trying to become 3 times heavyweight champion, my people. After the first time round, the first loss that came in his career was, of course, versus Andy Ruiz, my people. Someone that had previously lost to Joseph Parker, and he was KO'd by Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz to become the first Mexican heavyweight champion in history, my people. Not only holding 1 belt, but a unified champion via beating Anthony Joshua through a stoppage, my people. Through a stoppage in a fight that Ruiz was a big underdog in. And however, Anthony Joshua did reclaim those belts in a rematch against Ruiz. He beat Ruiz via unanimous decision, my people. And then he went on to get another good win against Kubrat Pulev. After that came Anthony Joshua's 2 losses in came Anthony Joshua's next 2 losses in quick succession, guys, at the hand of Usyk, who was before a cruiserweight undisputed champion, came up to the heavyweight division, of course, to try to do the same. And here he took Anthony Joshua's reclaimed unified titles again from him, not once, but because he beat him the first time to take the titles, and then the second time to reclaim the titles, my people, from Anthony Joshua. And not to reclaim, but to retain the titles from Anthony Joshua's grasp, my people. So at this point, Anthony Joshua had 3 career losses. He then went on an attempt to become 3 times heavyweight champion now, and the path that he took, not so impressive. You know, he was given fighters that were obviously lesser opponents that wouldn't have shown us that he had made any real improvement to his game going forward from there. And because we know he was, of course, planning to become undisputed in the division, and in doing so may well go through Usyk again, yeah, or Tyson Fury, who at the time was in possession of the WBC title, my guys. And so Anthony Joshua, in his headhunt to wanting to reach undisputed, went up against first Jermaine Franklin, tailor-made, went through Robert Helenius, tailor-made, Otto Wallin, tailor-made, and then Francis Ngannou, my guys. Not only tailor-made, but not even a great boxer. In fact, he's not a boxer at all. He was a former UFC fighter, and he got his chance against Joshua off his unexpected great performance against Tyson Fury, who was seen at the time as possibly the #1 heavyweight in the world, my guys. And Anthony Joshua got through all these opponents via stoppage, aside from Jermaine Franklin, who he beat with a unanimous decision, my people. But we all thought Anthony Joshua was back to his knockout ways and winning streak, his aggressive style, after, of course, first losing to Andy Ruiz in a very, very embarrassing way, and you know, and a very luster, not Joshua like rematch with Ruiz, where he won, where he beat Ruiz to retain his title and become 2 times heavyweight champion, and then going on to lose to Usyk in a way where he was lacking a lot of aggression with Usyk. Also, we didn't really see any Anthony Joshua in that, but in the fights that I've spoken about that came after his 2 fights with Usyk, Anthony Joshua, we all thought, many people thought, had, of course, you know, gone back to the drawing board and fixed the things that which he had to fix, my people. And however, although we were all convinced, in his very next fight versus Daniel Dubois, in attempts to become 3 times heavyweight champion, we saw what happened there, and he lost to Daniel Dubois via stoppage, my people. So the second stoppage in his career, my guys, my people. So now we are at this point. Now we are at this point, my people. I was giving you briefly the story of Joseph Parker, how he messed up and managed to bring himself back to this great position where he beat Zhilei Zhang. But I didn't tell you that in beating Zhilei Zhang, he actually became the WBO interim title holder in the division. So which means he's now in a great position. He's in a better position than he was ever before, even as a champion, to tell you the truth. Yeah, because now we've got Turki Al-Sheikh, who's paying big money for big fights. Yeah, and right now he's in a great position to get so many big fights. You could face Daniel Dubois and challenge Dubois for his title. You can go up against the winner of Usyk and Tyson Fury in December, after December, because they will be holding the WBO a world heavyweight title amongst 3 other titles also. So he can stake a claim to that as the interim WBO world champion, although Dubois would be the front man in line of, you know, facing those 2 fighters. Not only is he promised, but he actually holds one of the titles, one of the 4 titles that he can combine with the unified titles of Usyk. Usyk holds those titles right now to become undisputed, my guys. And the aim, of course, for Riyadh season and Turkey Al Sheikh is to make an undisputed fight. But he does have real good fights that could be made for Joseph. For Joseph Parker. Another fight that could be made for him is, of course, David Ituma, who has put Joseph Parker's name out there, as someone that he would love to face. But would Parker be willing to face a prospect at this point of his career? I'm not sure, and I don't really. Well, I really do doubt it, But that is a possible opponent for him should he choose to go along that line. David Atuma, no disrespect to Parker, just called out his name just to see what whether the fish would grab the bait. But as for now, Parker has not really shown any interest in facing Moses Ituma. Why do I keep calling him David? His name is Moses Ituma, my people. Yeah. So those are the possible opponents for Joseph Parker. But he could face Wilder again. That's a good one for him too. And again, he could face Anthony Joshua. I mean, he's got unfinished business with Anthony Joshua. Also, Joyce. Joyce is trying to rebuild. So yeah, that's another name there. Also, he's got unfinished business with Joyce too, my guys, my people. And as for what's his name, Deontay Wilder, man, he's just I don't know where his career can go, because I can't see any top heavyweight not really beating him at this point. But like I said, his power carries that surprise factor, that suspense factor, that what if factor, that you know what I mean, that anything can happen factor, basically. So he will make, I believe that because of that alone, in most people's eyes, he can land big fights anytime. He can land big fights anytime with that alone, to tell you the truth. But really speaking, I really do think that his career is dead in the waters, mate. It's done. It's done. And people are saying the same thing of Anthony Joshua too. So possibly Anthony Joshua could face one another. But Anthony Joshua also has a rematch clause against Daniel Dubois. So I don't think he's willing to go backwards right at this moment in his career, my guys. He just wants to go forward, take that rematch, and possibly get the win, which I think he can do if he comes with his A game. I do believe he's the more skillful fighter, has greater ability than Daniel Dubois, although he did not show that in that fight. Very piss poor performance there by Anthony Joshua. But yeah, I believe that's what he's going to choose to do to get the rematch versus Daniel Dubois. So yeah, as for yeah, but then again, Deontay Wilder too. Let me go back to Deontay Wilder. He's also he could also face I've spoken about the Anthony Joshua fight. It could, because that fight is a big fight. People have been calling for it previously, so possibly this is the perfect time to get that done, And again, Francis Ngannou, you know how the crossover fights always make big bank, So yeah, Francis Ngannou had shown interest before, so possibly this is the right time to make a fight with Francis Ngannou. Another fight that could be there for him is, of course, in the bridgerweight division with the champion there, what's his name again? Okoli. Okoli, I believe, is I don't know which title he's holding. Is it the WBC? Well, one of the major titles anyway. He's holding that, and he's actually willing to welcome Deontay Wilder to get a title shot if he's of course willing to come down to bridgerweight. But as we know, because Deontay Wilder is a small heavyweight anyway, so bridgerweight would really suit him. But he's not. But I know now, I know though that as for now, his promoter Shelly Finkel has in fact revealed that they're not interested in that fight at all. That if at all Deontay Wilder is making a comeback, is going to be in the heavyweight division. In fact, his trainer Malik Scott believes that Deontay Wilder can still do great things amongst the top heavyweights, my guys. But I truly do doubt it. Although you can't count him out because he carries that element of maybe you know what I'm saying, of that element of anything can happen, my people. As Anthony Joshua, let me go back to Anthony Joshua. He could face Fury, or Usyk, or Dubois. But to do that, you would need to go for Dubois first. To tell you the truth. Yeah. So that's it. Thus far, my people. And with that said, that's all I have for you in this session of Boxing Talk. Catch me next time on Body and Mind Sports. And before you leave, do like, share, and subscribe, my people. And as always, stay super blessed, my people. One.